Let me start for the Ring magazine. Delighted today to join with Frank Warren here in London. Just finished a lovely meal at Milo's again. Always good to be down here and always good to be speaking to you, Frank. Very much appreciate it. Other than that, how's things? How are you?
I'm good. We've had a nice lunch, haven't we? A good chat about boxing and the world, and yeah, I'm good. I'm all okay in my bedroom.
Yeah, I can see a lot of wine there. Yeah, glad obviously everything's all good. But yeah, it's a busy couple of weeks coming ahead for Queensberry. Obviously, you've got Hamzah Sheeraz in New York next week. Obviously, a big one for yourself, Usyk Dubois. Looking forward to, I guess, quite an important couple of weeks for the Queensberry Stable.
Yeah, 2 serious Saturday nights. As you say, the first one in New York on the 12th, and Hamzah's got a big fight against Berlanga. Big moment for him, having moved up a division after his last fight where he was struggling to make the weight and the hand injury, but he's not messed about. He's gone straight in the deep end, not just fighting a good fighter, but fighting him in his backyard.
Do you think that speaks volumes about Hamzah, that he, first fight a new weight, he's willing to take on a world level challenge in great respect?
No messing about, going for it.
Yeah, and with that, with Hamzah as well, sort of no secret that the Itauma fight didn't go his way, and it was, particularly a poor performance by the standards that he's been boxing before.
Well, the last 3 rounds, you got yourself together.
Yeah.
But, he was fortunate to get the decision.
Is there extra pressure on him in this fight? Because, if it doesn't go his way against Berlanga...
I don't think there's any pressure on him. I think he's out there. He knows what he's got to do. I think the pressure's on Berlanga. He's the home fighter. He's got the guy fighting up. A lot of people fancy him to win the fight, so the pressure's on him to deliver. Yeah,
but that's what I was going to say. I guess when you look at Berlanga and Sheeraz in itself, how do you think a fight plays out when it's a case of... I know you may not think it, but in the consensus it's one where both fighters can't afford to lose.
Well, they can't, but that's like all these type of fights. No one can afford to lose, and it gets a stage in your career where do you want you don't want the loss. Where's it going to put you if you get beat? But it's how you get beat. It's how the fight pans out. If it's a close fight, it's a rematch, or if it's a great fight, it's a rematch. If it's someone wants to move on, don't want the rematch. It's all sorts of connotations of it, but they're good fighters. Both of them are good quality fighters. But Hamzah's, you've got to take your hat to him. He's a proper fighting man.
Yeah. And no worries for Hamzah with the Canelo carrot being dangled as well by His Excellency.
He must have got to put all that in the back of his mind. It's a big, Canelo's got a big fight, as we know, in September against Crawford. It's a massive show, massive fight. Everybody expects him to come through, whether he does or not, we'll see. But, for the winner of the Berlanga and Hamzah's fight, which I believe and I hope will be Hamzah, is a great carrot for him.
What have you made of the build-up to Canelo Crawford? The 3 press conferences, they were pretty lively, the New York one and the Vegas one.
They've done well, and it's going to get more spicy as it goes on.
Yeah. What do you make of, the approach of Crawford almost being I'm not going to let you, almost trying to, I don't know if he's trying to intimidate Canelo, but he's almost been sticking it on Canelo in a sense?
Listen, these are not kids. They've been around the block, the both of them. They're not schmucks, they're not stupid, and both of them are in a position where, they know the importance of this fight and what it would define their legacy in boxing. That's why it's such an interesting and incredible and great fight.
I know there was an appeal from Turkey to sort of put undercard fighters forward and prospects. You've got a lot of prospects, Frank. Anyone else? Anyone you'd be sort of, if you could, I guess, pick up anyone for that card?
We've got more prospects than anybody in the world.
Yeah. Any of them ideal, do you think, for the Crawford Canelo undercard?
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. One of the names that he did mention was Abdullah Mason. He spoke about him potentially being on the card. Obviously, his fight has been, a world title has been ordered against Sam Noakes. Is there any update on that? Could we see it on that card or in the UK?
Maybe on there. We'll see. We're talking to Top Rank, who look after him at the moment, and see if we can do a deal. If we can't, we go to purse bids.
Yeah. Would you want to see that fight in the UK, do you think?
Yeah, I'd prefer it to be there, but we'll see what happens. It's all about, with these guys at this level, about money as well.
Yeah. Only a couple of weeks away now from Usyk Dubois. As it gets closer and closer, I guess what the conversation has been like with Daniel as he does get closer to, obviously, arguably one of the biggest nights of his career.
He's very confident. He's in a good place. He's training well. Don says he's in a good place, and that's all that matters. You've got to continue that way. We're just under 3 weeks away from it, and we're getting to the critical time. And the week of the fight's going to be quite interesting. A lot of pressure on both the guys, and You know, with Daniel, he's the younger guy. I think, you know, the fact he's had his last 4 fights have been real tough fights. Each of them he's gone in as an underdog, won 3 of them, and in the fight against Usyk hurt him. Shows he can hurt him. He's matured. He's a different guy now, and that's where we are with this. And I think his previous promoter, Krasic, said, his manager said, Agit said he's fighting now. They're fighting Daniel the man and not the boy. And I think that's really the bottom line of this. Yeah. So it's going to be quite a heavy-duty weekend, and at the end of it, we'll see on the night where it all goes. But I'm confident in Daniel. I'm very confident.
The Krasic news a bit of a distraction for Usyk, do you think?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I'll give this credit. I'll give credit to one of our writers, Deck Taylor. But he told me a stat about Dubois being the first fighter to have back-to-back headliners at Wembley Stadium, which is, I guess, it's a rare stat, but it's a mad one. But it shows sort of the. I mean, as a promoter, when you take a guy from the start to see something like that must be a little bit extra special when you see that.
It's been a journey, 9 years. It's not just happened overnight. It's 9 years, nearly 9 years, and it's been a journey that he's on. He's had some bumps in the road, and he's done what he's had to do. He's done it in good style, and he's come through and shown what he's all about.
And when you spoke there about sort of the 4 fights that he's been on, is there much? Would you say there's a lot more of a benefit where he's had them 4 fights that they've all been tough fights in a sense, instead of sort of like layups, etc.
They've all been world-class fighters, world champions or ex-world champions or mandatories or all undefeated, and done what he's had to do. And done it in style and shown what he's all about, and he's matured mentally, and that's going to be the difference on the 19th.
And the consensus, obviously, everyone does like having an undisputed champion, showing the sort of the number one in the division. I mean, you've got a lot of heavyweights, Frank, and they're all sort of fragmented in positions where you've got Parker as WBO interim, Fabio as WBA interim, obviously WBC interim is Kabayel. Is there a point where you do look at that and feel like sometimes when you've got one guy holding up all 4 belts, it holds up the division a little bit?
No, not really, because I think this fight will be the catalyst for what happens moving forward. Depending on the result, they're either going to have their mandatory against the WBO champion, which is Joe Parker, or they'll vacate. Who knows? Or there'll be a rematch. But whatever happens, it's going to be lively, and the division's going to keep moving. And we kept it moving, both here in the UK and also in Riyadh, with Riyadh season, making these fights happen.
It's obviously touch on heavyweights there. First one, Joseph Parker. And there's talks of the Dave Allen fight actually like serious sort of potential of it.
There's been some talks on it, but it is what it is at the moment. No, nothing's been done.
Revealed that Agit Kabayel with homecoming in Germany.
Yeah.
I guess is there any idea on sort of the opponent for that? Would you look at sort of someone that would?
There's a couple of things we've got in mind. I'm not going to go into it now, but we want to do it. DAZN got a big presence in Germany, and we want to do a show there with them.
Is there any preference of where in Germany, or?
No, I haven't thought about that.
Okay. A couple of weeks ago, we saw the announcement of, I guess, quite a big night, August 16th for the Queensberry Stable. Moses Itauma takes on Dillian Whyte, and what's a big step up for him. Nick Ball takes on Sam Goodman, Anto Kakache and Ray Ford, and obviously Filip Hrgovic and David Adelaide as well. So we're over in Riyadh in August, which will be quite hot, but so creates a lot of fire for a lot of them fights.
Correct. All our fighters are in real competitive fights, great fights. It's a fabulous card. It's a real fight card. Great fights. They're all bill toppers in their own, in their own right. All of them. I mean, these are really good quality competitive fights.
And when it comes to Moses Itauma, obviously White's a big step up who's been a world level contender for quite a few years now. There's always that risk of saying taking the step up now, it's a case of you don't want to rush him too soon, because once a win over Dillian Whyte, you can't you're at a world level now.
Look, Dillian's an old campaigner, a warrior. He's had wins against good fighters. He's given good fighters tough fights, and he's done brilliantly, and he's been around a long time, and he knows in his heart this is a fight. If he wants to carry on in the heavyweight division at the top echelon, he's got to win. So this is a shit or bust fight for him. As far as our man's concerned, this is a real tough fight for Moses. this is a big, a jump up for a kid who's 20 years of age and only had 12 heavyweight fights. It's a big jump for him. It says a lot about him that he's taking it on.
Someone on the undercard, Nick Ball. I think I want to say he was the WBA #1. Obviously not anymore because he's boxed for an interim. But Bruce Carrington done an interview with Cigar Talk over in America, and he said that Nick Ball turned down £2 million to fight him, to fight Carrington. Is there, I guess, any knowledge or comment on that from Carrington?
I don't know what he's on about, but the Nick's got his fight on the 16th, and it's a great fight. That's it. That's what he's about. Tell me, Nick Ball's. He's probably fought at the best level of any featherweight in the last 2 years. Fight after fight. Fight after fight, the best he's fought.
Yeah. They announced the rematch yesterday for Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn. I guess what do you make of the rematch and then riding it back in quite quick succession as well?
Well, it was a great fight, and the reason it's been announced because it was contracted when they made the first fight, so it is what it is. And it's going to be an interesting fight, based upon what we see the first time around, which was quite an absorbing fight, and a very, very competitive fight. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's all the same terms. So obviously a big thing for the first fight was the 160, the rehydration. Is there a concern, I guess, going into that with a rematch from a Eubank point of view?
That's up to his connections. That's up to his manager. That's up to his trainer. And the bottom line of it is it's up to the commission. Yeah,
but I guess from his point of view, if there was complaints over it and concerns, do you have to sort of maybe Eubank look at himself and his team being like, if it was so hard, why would I sign up for it for the rematch? If that makes sense.
He signed up for it before the fight happened. He's got no choice.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. That's what he signed for. That's what he got paid a truckload of money for, and getting a truckload of money for the second fight.
Yeah. Obviously, someone who was on that card was Anthony Yard. What is the latest, I guess, with Anthony?
We're looking to make a big fight for him. We're working hard on that. He's away at the moment, or he was away last week on holiday, so we'll see what happens.
Well, one of them would either be,
This is a sexy division, the old light heavyweight division, and he's a real big name in that division.
Before I do let you go, Frank, I did want to ask you about Dennis McCann. Obviously, the news about him sort of being quiet over the last sort of few months or weeks. Is there any, I guess, idea of a potential update on what
it's become very farcical? A lot of information has been asked for, and it's not been forthcoming. And a lot will happen in the next few weeks, but I don't see how anyone can move forward with what this is, what they're saying has happened. I don't see where they go with this now.
How quick do you think a resolution is? Because you look at someone like Conor Benn.
You're going to have to do it very quickly. It's not about Conor Benn or anyone.
No, but that took so long.
No, I understand it, but it's not about that. It's about him, and it's about some of the stuff there. And when it will become public. And when it comes public, I don't know where these guys are going to go with it, because it's crazy what they've done.
Okay, interesting. Frank, appreciate you taking time to speak to me.
It's a pleasure.
Always
man.
good, and appreciate the dinner today. Appreciate it. Thank you.